In this video, we've got $25,000, $1,000 grants for everyone. When I say I have listed information resources and application portals for grants for everyone, I mean everyone. Just take a quick look at the National Science Foundation's website, where they respond to frequently asked questions posed by people who are applying for grants of up to $1.75 million to commercialize their technically risky idea. Must the proposing legal entity be formed at the time of the project pitch submission? At the time of the full proposal submission, submission of a project pitch is permitted even if no small business has yet been formed. As I have told you on previous videos, for many of these grants, you have to operate a small business. However, the federal government is telling you that for you to submit a pitch to be eligible to receive grants of up to $1.75 million to commercialize your technically risky idea, you do not even have to operate a small business as yet to take the first step in applying for grants of up to $1.75 million. However, the proposing small business needs to be a legal entity at the time of full proposal submission. A legal entity is required to complete all the necessary registrations. However, phase one, proposing small businesses need not have commenced company operations at the time of submission. And if you read through the frequently asked questions on the National Science Foundation website, they'll link you to small business resources that I have listed on the spreadsheet that I've referred to in several videos, mainly on the small business resources tab. So it has the usa.gov/start-business, where it tells you all the steps that you have to take in order to start a small business. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. Simply do the due diligence. As I've told you, I started my small business back in 2010 with a little over $100, applying for my employer identification number free of charge through irs.gov. You can do it. And even if you don't do it, I still have grants for which you will qualify if you look through my spreadsheet. Just take a quick look. And just to stay on top of all the grants and free resources that I encounter, click the subscribe button, click the bell notification to stay on top of all of these resources, because I will continually update this spreadsheet with all of these resources. I have I have tabs for individuals, for veterans, free education, students, nonprofits. Let's just take a look at some of the grants that I'm talking about real quick. For instance, I already showed you National Science Foundation. Now, they release applications or solicitations for applications every quarter. So as you can see, they released it for December 18th, 2019, all through September 4th, 2020, December 3rd, 2020. They continually fund this thing because the federal government is on a mission to create more small businesses, to create more jobs through this program. That's why I keep it there, because, as I said, all you need is an innovative yet technically risky idea that you can commercialize through grants that are funded through the National Science Foundation. And look, if you perform a Google search for the National Science Foundation American Seed Fund, they are still actively advertising for it. We're now accepting pitches. That means they want people to apply. Stay on top of it. I'll keep it listed in my spreadsheet, which is up to grants 2021. So, and just to give you a quick idea, if you start a small business, for instance, today, you will be referred to as what the Small Business Administration classifies as a non-employer firm. And just take a quick look at the stats. There are 25,701,671 non-employer firms, meaning businesses that do not have any employees. They're simply self-employment projects. There are a total of 31.7, just rounding it off, 31.7 million small businesses in the United States, constituting 99.9% of all businesses in the United States, employing half of the U.S. workforce. Therefore, these self-employment projects classified as non-employer firms constitute 81.1% of 99.9% of all businesses in the United States. And you're telling me that you can't start one to not just to qualify for grants. You don't want to do it just to qualify for grants. It's so you can be successful in ultimately feeding and saving your families to ultimately save this country. Now remember, this is the mecca of capitalism, the United States of America. I don't know how easy it is in other countries, unless it's very easy here to start your small business. And just take a quick look. If right here, we have a $25,000 grant for everyone, because all you have to have is an innovative idea that'll help the world get through the pandemic. A solution, for instance, a more efficient way to distribute vaccines, for instance. You can come up with the idea yourself. You can ideate with a team. Doesn't matter. You qualify for a grant of up to $25,000, open to all Canadian and United States residents. You've got Amber Grant for women, $25,000. Amber Grant for women. We've got, again, this is a $500 grant for you to raise funds for your small business project, okay? Listen, all you have to do, you raise $500. Perhaps you could put the money down yourself, or you get family members and everyone to go ahead and donate to your fund, to your small business. You gotta pay attention here. For you to qualify, for instance, for the Paycheck Protection Program loan or the Economic Injury Disaster loan, you did have to have a small business in operation at the beginning of 2020. However, for grants such as this, they haven't listed that criteria. Therefore, you could have started a business last month. You could have started a business today and discuss why you're funding your small business. Again, don't just do it for the grants. Do it to actually solve something. Do it to actually save, to help feed your families, to sell something. Sell anything that provides value to other people, whether it's masks, whether I'll show you again the bobblehead doll that I bought for $6.99 that's now potentially worth on eBay $20. That's not the case, however, with this. But if you have electronics in your house, if you have old IKEA furniture, they go like this on Craigslist. You get at least 50% of their value if you sell them on Craigslist. If you got electronics, they go pretty quickly on eBay. I started a business with my children, and we sold their old monitor. We sold all kinds of things that they don't want anymore on eBay. That's essentially small business revenue, because it's not coming from being a W-2 employee. Black women entrepreneurs, a grant for black women entrepreneurs, grants for librarians, a $250 grant for librarians. The Launch Factory, I told you about this. This is $300,000 in seed funding. And you don't even need the idea in this particular case, like the National Science Foundation's program. In this particular, they actually equip you with the idea. And they give you all kinds of resources for you to be successful. They give you $300,000 in seed funding. You do need, nonetheless, a bachelor's degree in order to qualify. You need to operate a small business, $300,000 in seed funding to stay on top of resources such as this. Click the subscribe button, click the bell notification to stay on top of all these resources that I'll list on my spreadsheet as soon as I put them up. You can find local food banks through this link that I posted in my spreadsheet. You got grants for people who did not qualify for an economic impact payment, aka the stimulus check. Check it out. You can go ahead and apply for help through this particular link right here. Service workers, service disabled veterans. I also created a new tab for veterans. I'll go ahead and continue to list all resources that I encounter for veterans on that tab. The COVID unemployment relief, the Brave of Heart. If unfortunately, for instance, you're listening to this, and I'll go ahead and transmit, please accept my deepest condolences. If, for instance, if someone died due to the virus, and they were a service or a frontline worker, rather, they can qualify for a grant. You can qualify for a grant of up to $60,000. Grants for DoorDash drivers. This is coming soon. Take a look. The NAV Small Business Grant. This is another grant where you do not have to have a small business that has been in operation since the beginning of last year. You simply have to post your story on the type of problem that you encountered running your small business and how you solved it. Or something that tells me, wow, this guy did good. I got business resources. So for instance, how to do business with NASA. This is under the free education sources that you could find on my spreadsheet. Again, take a look. See, free education. You could take a look at free workshops so you can learn how to be an internet marketer, how to advertise on Google and other online platforms. You can actually sell that as a service. That's what I mainly do with my business. Help people advertise their services and products through online platforms. These are case studies on how people have been successful in applying for grants, both federal and from private organizations, and their scholarships. We have a tab for students. As I've told you before, this is a Susan T. Buffett Foundation scholarship for people who live in Nebraska, and I've got one for people nationwide, for students, for your high school students. Wherever it is they live in the country, on the students tab, a grant of up to $3,800 where you can intern and you can receive a grant of up to $3,300 for the first year that you work with the, excuse me, this is not the original page, with the Naval Research Lab. I actually worked with them in the past to help them promote content that featured their firefighting robots and their wartime artificially intelligent ships, military ships. Look, the Science and Engineering Apprenticeship Program. You must be a high school student. I told my son about it. He's on a grind right now, getting his grades up. So potentially, a high school official can go ahead and recommend that he gets admitted into this program. Talk soon.